Good morning. It is Friday, March. Are we the 11th? We are the 11th. Friday, March 11th, which makes it Thursday, June 9th. Well into June. Jason Westcott is here. We're going to talk about Mohegan and masterminds, and they're having toboggan day. It is if you ski, ride, or toboggan, or just because you're Jason Westcott, want to sit pretty at the bar and have wonderful ladies buy you cranberry and Sprite. What do you do? Cranberry and tonic? Cranberry and soda?
Cranberry and soda. That's
cranberry
right.
And soda. Yeah. So Lesniak's cranberry and soda. Your cranberry and soda. Now it's cranberry and tonic at Mohegan. Yes. Right. Which when Mohegan realized the three of us weren't drinking, they're like, "Oh, we're not going to make as much money as we." There's saw us rumbling, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to make," even if they don't gamble. Did you do any gambling while we were there?
I did not.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, well, if I'm with people, like if we're going for like the weekend, which you could have, people did,
yeah.
But we were down there for a different purpose. But if you're going down there, like I'll go with my friends. So we do like a Radio Man weekend. A bunch of us that used to work in radio together. We used to always do like Derby weekend at Mohegan, which invariably every Derby weekend at Mohegan was always like first weekend in May, right? And there was always also a who am I thinking of? Who's the fighter? Oh my gosh, why am I struggling with it?
Fighter.
He fought
Mickey Ward?
No, oh God bless Mickey Ward. Don't get me started. Don't get me excited. I'm struggling to death with it. Doesn't matter. He always fought on Derby weekend. So it's like a full thing. It was the horse race and then dinner at Jordan's and then the fight. And I'll think of his name later. It doesn't matter. But yeah. And even then, I wouldn't gamble a lot. I just stand behind people who are gambling and hold their drink and my drink because they feed you drinks while you're doing that. But
I took a lot of classes at Ohio State on probability and statistics, and it's a really bad idea to spend your money in that building.
Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Mayweather. That's who I was thinking of. Mayweather.
Oh,
Mayweather for like 7 years in a row. Mayweather would fight on Pony Weekend. It was awesome. So anyway, we want to talk about what's going on today, of course, and first and foremost. So there's the whole focus of the month of March is March Marketing Madness. So today in the training room, there's a 9 o'clock slot and a 12 o'clock slot. They're both going to be online as well. So in the Portsmouth training room or on Zoom, you'll be able to track this down. And it's Automate Your Marketing and Multi-Step Smart Plans. Babs is in the room. Robert is in the room. Zoe's in the room. And again, a 9 o'clock start if you can make that one. They're doing another one at 12. For those of you that are leaning back into Ignite, that is at 9 o'clock. It continues. And then, of course, all day today at Cranmore, as we said, and that's where Jason is headed. I believe JV is there. I believe Jason is there. Their phones are on, so if you do need help, if the real estate police are chasing you, they can still be reached. Jason's probably arguably more readily available, though. Because JV might be, yes, JV is going to be mingling with the people and skiing on her good knee and her bad knee, for that matter. Krista's there, and our friends from 4 Point are helping put the whole day together. So if you are inclined to head to Cranmore, by all means, the crew is going to be there all day today. And then above and beyond that, there is the Luxury Learning Series. And this is so appropriately placed, Jason, because we just had Brady Sondal at the Mastermind at Mohegan during the week. Phenomenal presentation. An hour is never enough with Brady. And we kid because it's part of his standard that when he refers to the people on his team or to their clientele, he always calls them ladies and gentlemen. We had a member of executive leadership in Texas that used to always say ladies and gentlemen. And it's like when he stepped down, he left it in the storage closet, and Brady grabbed it. But Brady we didn't know on a national scale because he was not yet director of luxury. Now he is phenomenal talent. We are doing our best. I believe Nathan's already working on getting Brady back up here. I would love to see him do, and we'll tell the story real quick as well. I'd love to see him do a class for our luxury division agents. And then above and beyond that, and we're going to bring this back anyway. I know. We would love to have, I think Sue Doyle has thrown her bonnet into the ring for this one. Agent etiquette, right? Not a bad idea. And Brady would be great. He told a phenomenal story. Brady Sondal was talking about awarding one of his agents, Jason, and he said, we wanted to surprise him and award him. He had some major thing happen. And Brady was feeling like, I haven't traveled in 12 minutes. I want to go somewhere. So he was bringing Agent X to Hawaii, and then somebody else on his team and their girlfriend was also joining them. And he didn't say who it was, but one of the two guys showed up to fly to Hawaii. And Brady was taking everybody on a great trip, so he's like, "Of course, I'm going to take them on first class. I really wanted to treat them." And we're walking. We get through our gate, and Brady stopped, and he said to one of the gentlemen, he goes, "The men's room's right over there if you want to change." And the kid goes, "Why would I want to change?" He goes, "I don't think you're prepared to fly in first class with me." So he was just setting the standard, and the kid went into the bathroom shabby chic and came out shabby chicier. Yeah, he put on a button down and some Brooks Brothers, and he was ready for first class. And then Brady in that moment just said, and I'm guilty of this because I love to whack the puck around the boards, as you all know, but I practice the self-edit while we're on the air. He said, we will dress professionally, we will speak professionally, and I think he said, if we're not on the beach, there'll be no toenails or swear words. Does everybody agree? And they said, yes. He goes, let's go enjoy Hawaii. But he sets the standard, and that's what all of our rainmakers, all of our team leads, want to be able to do is, and really the one thing they need to teach the people on their teams, and we teach as a market center is, and I think the great Kay Evans from down south, she's usually hanging out with Mo Anderson, and she just said, you should dress professionally, speak professionally, walk professionally, carry yourself professionally, like the whole 9 yards, right? So to that point, if you are, and I appreciate this, we have some agents who definitely probably today, because it's getting nicer, it's getting dangerously nice out, and the Red Sox are back, which is good news, Jason. I think if you're doing your lead gen this morning in a Led Zeppelin t-shirt and board shorts, Godspeed. You're on the phone, and we celebrate that. And if you're making those calls, especially if you're on Vulcan 7 or some sort of a dialer and you get that persnickety guy in Rye who says, yeah, you know what, Jason, I've got a lot of phone calls and I am interested. Can you be here in 10 minutes? You should, especially if you're not home, if you're at your office, and I know a lot of you guys do this. And most of our girls, God bless them, show up professionally. A lot of our guys are like, I'm going to do flip-flops and shorts. No judgment. And in your office, you should be ready to throw on a button-down and a jacket, and a pair of pants, and some shoes to dress for the occasion. And you could argue, if you're up in the Chickenboro area, and you're going to list, and Adam would argue this all day long, and I agree with him, you're going to go list something with 2 decimal points on the water, showing up in a golf belt and shorts, and some Sperry topsiders, and a polo shirt is appropriate too, because you're dressed for the environment. But some sort of a collared shirt would do you well, I think, depending on who you're talking to.
I would also, I'd throw in there too, like, now that we are getting back into the buildings, you know what I mean? Yep. And we're showing up, we're seeing more feet and closings happening within the Keller Williams Foundation. Just remember that what we need to remember is that when we show up to the office in our flip-flops and board shorts, that the person closing may not appreciate that. So there are other people, there are 800 of us, and we are doing closing. So, I mean, the professionalism is a tough thing to do. I get that, but it is a double-edged sword of like, yet you're on the phone, yet somebody might be walking $1 million client. And I remember prior to my days at Keller Williams, I was at another brokerage. I won't say where.
How dare you?
I was meeting a developer for a 30-lot subdivision, and my office wasn't nice. I will tell you that my office was below mediocre, right? So he walked in, and I'll never forget it, right? His office is absolutely
below
gorgeous.
mediocre. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, and he owns one of the bigger construction firms in the Portsmouth area. Yep. I mean, if I said the name, everybody like, oh, I know that building. Yeah. $10 million building, like absolutely beautiful. He walked into my office and went just like this. This place is a dump. Oh. Like, that's what he said to me.
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, now Nate doesn't offer that, right? All of our buildings are absolutely beautiful. So let's be honest there. But my point is that how my client may see it, or my uppity or bougie client may see it, may not be what you think is going on at the market center. So, it is one of those things that we do have to start being careful at, because there are different peeps. There are different types of people, Yeah. I mean, all weekend long, Tim was in a button down and a jacket. He wears one every day. That's Tim. Right. So,
I do a sweater over the winter, but we've hit it now. We're in the 40s and the 50s, so it makes sense to for me. I made the change. Right. I'm jackets and pocket squares. We're moving closer, Jason. We're getting closer to Fridays. Flamingo Fridays are coming back. If you don't know what that is, we
Flamingo.
don't really know what it is either. But I have flamingo shirts I wear on every Friday until it snows again, and that's coming soon. But here's my point, and this is what I want. And we talk about professionalism. We talk about when your clients work with you. Well, they're a friend of mine. We heard this so many times in our breakout session, Jason, the other day, right? Oh, everybody I'm working with is my friend and my cousin. Well, careful, because real estate's like Arkansas. Your relatives will absolutely, if you're not careful, right? So just they're looking for a way. And if you were a dentist, they would never rock back in your chair and be like, Jason, thanks for squeezing me in. Not happening with your dentist. You're getting in line. You're filling out the paperwork on the clipboard, and you're going to see your dentist when you see your dentist, right?
Yeah.
That being said,
100%.
I'm also not going to rock back in Jason's chair after he squeezed me in, right, or left his family to come be with me, and say, hey, by the way, this root canal's on the house, right, because you're my friend. That's not happening in any other environment. And how would you feel if Jason was working on your teeth or your investments? Like, I would never walk into, I trust, and I've seen Brian Lang in short pants, but we've been golfing, right? But Brian Lang at Edward Jones, whom I work with on my life insurance, God bless him. If you don't have somebody, he's a wonderful talent. And he didn't show up to any of those meetings in board shorts and a T-shirt. And there's no judgment. If you're doing your lead gen, even at one of our offices today, and you're comfortable, be comfortable. Because you can be comfortable and dialed in, right? You can still look presentable. But what I'm saying is, to Jason's point, if somebody has their clients here, and you roll through smelling like patchouli or whatever you smoked for lunch or whatever, and I'll pick on that. I'm going to pick on that too a little bit, and I'm not going to go hard on this because there's no judgment. If you're a smoker, you're a smoker. And if you've been to Mohegan lately, they're non-smoking now, which was an absolute pleasure. That was a pleasure. There's a cigar bar that's the only place you can smoke. It was a pleasure, and no judgment. I've had a cigarette in my life. I also know how I would feel if somebody came to my kitchen table and sat with Janina and all I could smell was Pall Malls or Virginia Slims or Marlboro Lights, right? Mm-hmm. So if you are a smoker, I'm hoping that you're figuring out a way to get around that. It's all about when we show up, are you the person that's going to help them arguably with the biggest financial endeavor in their life? Unless they're buying a yacht. Talk to Jason's brother about that, right? So, unless that's the case, this is pretty big, and they want to be able to trust you. If I'm walking into my financial advisor, my insurance person, we want to show up, and we want to be visually prepared for the job. And first impressions matter.
Yep.
And the way you're carried. And to your point, Jason, the reason you're going to see Jeffrey dressed the way he's dressed, and me and the girls always look better than us without fail. They're always dressed professionally, right? Above and beyond that, when we're dressed 100%. The way we dress, if one of our agents ever ran into us out in the wild, Monday through Friday, during business hours, I'd want them to be able to say, that's the coach from my company. That's our team leader from our company. That's Nathan Dickey. He owns the whole thing, right? And yeah, certainly you're going to catch us in some bucks and some jeans, but we're going to have a button-down shirt on, and we're going to have a jacket on, and I will have bathed today. We're going to do our best. So let's just to support each other because it's part of the bigger conversation. And I feel like we're having a wardrobe conversation. That's not really what this is all about. No. It's all about how we just carry ourselves in general, how we carry ourselves. Because when they find out where you're from, they are immediately linking you to everybody else here. And we can only control what we can control. So our conversation at 463, which is massive, and you guys are awesome, you make the rest of the company look good by the way you carry yourself. So when you're teeing up, and this is about doing your homework too, right? You got to have people you vibe with. But if you have an investor out here and they're heading out to Malibu, California, right? Now it stands to reason most of the guys and girls out there are all dialed in when they're meeting with their high-level clients. But you also just want to make sure that's the case. If I'm sending one of my investment people who expects me to be in a button-down shirt and a jacket, and my friend out in San Diego, does all his business in board shorts, I wouldn't be. Hey, this guy's he's shopping between $4 and $5 mil, and I know normally you're in reef flip-flops and board shorts. I just need you to throw on a pair of khakis and a jacket when you meet him. I know it'll go a long way. That's all, because it's your standard. You're sending your client up to somebody else, and you're giving them the opportunity to knock it out of the park. So the way we behave in here is the way we behave everywhere. That's a bold law, and it holds true, right? And I think the way we put ourselves together, if you are dressing for the kitchen table you want to be at, you'll get yourself there faster, right? And you'll attract more conversations when people, oh my God, okay, cool, I didn't realize he did that. Because if their seminal thought is, I didn't know you were in real estate, I thought you worked for a landscape company. No judgment, but I'm just saying, right? every time I see you, and you're in a dirty pair of board shorts and some boots and this, that, and the other thing, they would never even know what you did, right? So, just want
years ago, I was in the Portsmouth office years ago. I was dropping off a check, and I was actually working on a house with my dad that we had to close, and we were a little behind. And I walked in, and Nate said, "You look like the guy who sold me my lawn, not my house." And I started laughing, right? Because I was in there 2 minutes. But I mean, and I agree with what you're saying. Like, be ready to play in the game. That's what I'll tell you.
Just have a uniform ready. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you never see Adam Dow. You see, and Adam wears the dress pants and the shirt. The Bree Steven is always dressed up.
Yep.
Michael Whitney's always has, like you said, a wardrobe in his office. Like everybody, the mega agents and the agents that sell high professionally, they are ready to play in the game, right? When you see, Tom Brady was sitting on the bench while Drew Brees was playing, but he had a uniform on. And when they said get in, he was there to do it. You know what I mean? So you just never know who's going to walk in. You never know you're going to meet in line at the grocery store picking up lunch. You just don't know.
Yep. Well, and the funniest part, I'll pick on Whitney while he's not here. He's in Italy. But anyway, the best part about Whitney.
Opening a market center.
Yeah, of course. No, I think they're celebrating a business center attached to the Rome Market Center, which is very cool.
Oh, nice.
More growth for them, which is awesome. So when I first got started, I remember, and this is over on Islington Street, and we had a handful of conversations, but I didn't know him the way I know him now, obviously. And he was leaving Nate's corner office on Islington Street and walking past me, and I said, court or a funeral? And he's like, what? I'm like, you're wearing pants, because he's always, don't get me wrong, everything he's wearing is probably Brooks Brothers. But yeah, it would be it's a button down that was probably supposed to get pressed, but he just pulled it out of the laundry. So it's a little delightful, but they're, but always dialed in. But yeah, if Whitney's in pants and the shirt's tucked in and they're dress pants, something's coming. Something big's coming. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, much like Kel Course, his office, I guarantee if you go downstairs to Kel Course's office, there's a tutu, and there's probably 3 suits. One of them's pink, but he's ready to close the phone booth and get dressed and go to the appointment.
100%.
So just being aware of that, because here's the thing. The way we show up on the phone and have the conversation to endear ourselves to the consumer enough to get invited to the kitchen table, it's about following through with all of that, right? And making sure that because to break this logjam, like we talked about, if we're going to break this logjam and get the numbers going again, it's going to be incumbent upon our office. The listing count, I know everyone's feeling it. Wow, listings seem to be really low. They seem, and they are. We typically carry more listings as a market center than the entire state has right now. And yes, we also play in Massachusetts and now in Vermont, and we also, you guys dominate Southern Maine. All that being said, for all of this to change, it's going to be all our fault to get it done. Because as much as we can sit back and say, well, the numbers nationally are down, we're the big dog in the neighborhood, and now all these other brokerages are saying, well, KWCLM is down, so it's okay for us to be down. Yeah. Right. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we shine our light. We start to kick ass to give everybody else permission to go kick ass. Well, no, we want all the listings. No, I want everybody to do well, because I know if everyone's doing well, the market is doing well, and our clients are being taken care of at a real high level. So do I want us to be winning in all the categories? Absolutely. And when we start to get in motion, we will encourage others to get off their butts and get moving. And I'm not saying you're not off your butts. We got to grind harder. If you're grinding right now and you're not feeling it, you might be in this new level of growth. And we always talk about it. There's going to be a line, that long line of doing the right activities until it breaks and the logjam breaks. And right now we're in the midst of embracing the suck, right? And this too shall pass.
I will also, just to add to this, we always talk about the shifted market, right? Shifted market could be either a buyer or a seller's market. It's shifted. Because we always hear this is a seller's market, not a shifted market. I would argue that fact, right? And Nate has always said, the minute you want to grow your business, you do it in a shifted market. We're in one. Right now is the time to buckle down, get the listings, and you will watch your business grow the next 5 years, because if you're selling the homes today, those are your buyers and sellers tomorrow. So knuckle down. I mean, Tim said that we wanted to win all the awards. I will tell you that Tim made me go up on stage to get the awards, and we won most of the awards. They are watching
you got all
us.
your steps in.
10 years ago, I got my steps in. 10 years ago, we were just the little paint store that Nate was opening, and who are they? To we are the company within Keller Williams New England. They're watching us. They're seeing what we're doing. So we have a heavy burden on our shoulders. We have to perform. So we're at that level. And that's why we're here. We're here to support you guys in whatever you need. Whether it be my department, Tim's department, or marketing or TC or whatever it may be. Nate has built a bunker for you guys to succeed at a high level. And now everybody's watching us. So now we have to, right? Like we are Michael Jordan. We three-peat. We got to do it again.
Yeah. Well, it's the gift and the curse of when Tiger won his green jacket when he was 12. And it's now what have you done for me lately, right? And I do want to address there's a couple of comments in the chat, and I love that it's brought up because I know how our comments probably just came across. It's not about Brooks Brothers. It's go to Kohl's and get the blazer. I'm not even saying you need to wear a jacket. But everyone that I'm about to say this, and everyone's heard somebody say this at some point in their life: dress for the job that you want, dress for the listing that you want, dress for the kitchen table you want to be at next. So again, if you want to be hyper comfortable at your house with your headset on, dialing for dollars, amen, sister, rock and roll. And then when you have an opportunity to go to somebody's kitchen table, or just if you're going to an event and you're going to run into people, you're going to run into people that you can add to your sphere to make it more influential, right? Show up dressed the way you want to present yourself to your next client. We never know. We always talk about this. I never know what conversation is going to put me in touch with a wealth determiner in my life. And understand, too, you being in relationship with the person who's buying their first house, and their first house is a mobile, or their first house is the tiniest condo, they're going to stick with you, and they're going to call you back. Then you get their first house. Then you get their move-up house. Then their uncle wants to buy a house on the lake. And then their aunt wants to sell her condo on Bow Street in Portsmouth. And they're going to get pushed to you if you stay engaged. But it's how you show up and how you care to begin with. And just so, again, I appreciate somebody throwing that in the comments. It's not about expense, but it's about just making sure you've got some stuff that you can throw on. Because I've heard this story. And they're like, yeah, and I had to push it off because I had to figure out what I was going to wear. So just have, and if you don't put it on for a month or 2 months, have the white button-down Oxford. You don't have to be super predictable, but like pair of tan khakis, blue blazer, white button-down Oxford, and a pair of slip-ons that you can throw on so you can be there. Don't overthink it. Just have it ready because that's when it will happen, right? One of the things that came up, and it's in the book, my fourth gospel of Keller Williams, Michael Mayer, The 7 Levels of Communication. The character talks about
near you.
Yeah, the character talks about having your cape for real estate ready, right? And this is a big thing, and I know a lot of people feel this way and probably already practice this. Putting your clothes out the night before. And it seems like a very little thing, but you've already future-proofed for yourself. I'm going to be in this tomorrow. I'm going to feel good about how I look and how I'm marching around. And just doing that one simple thing and having that ready. So if you have that ready and it's on standby, and again, at the office, if you're coming in casual on a Friday because you don't have anything going on, you're going to be on the horn all day, then you're going to grab lunch and maybe head home, just having something ready. And I would love in the comments, or I would love somebody to just reach out and be like, yes, I do this, and it's happened to me, and it's worked. It's not just something we came up with today. We just know it's important to be ready for the conversation. That is all. Because somebody like Brady Sandal, right? That's the way he shows up every time. He was a size medium suit, crispy white shirt underneath, and again, you knew what to expect when you walked into the room if you've ever met him before or seen him speak. Today at 1:00 on KW Connect, by the way, phenomenal talent. And again, it's nobody's ever going to be dissuaded by the fact that you showed up. I say this to my boys all the time who go to high school. So the uniform there is t-shirt and sweatpants and. Their sweatpants are now getting tucked into the socks. Have you seen this, Jason? Very confusing.
Yes.
Yeah. Co Brown is shabby homeless. That's the new look. Not shabby chic, shabby homeless. I've always said to my boys, it is impossible to be overdressed, right? Because if you show up for an event and you got a tie on, you can lose the tie if nobody else is doing that, and you feel uncomfortable, right? You can always add salt, right?
What did he say, Tim? He said, "Ladies and gentlemen, acting and negotiating like ladies and gentlemen."
Yeah, yeah.
I love that about him. You know what I mean? Like
his team is ladies and gentlemen, working on behalf of ladies and gentlemen. Yep, 1,000%. Yep. Somebody said I've not explored in there, but our agents always look amazing. And talking about the fact that everybody's been impressed when they come in here, and that's a standard that we've always expected. You know, and here's the thing, and we've held to it here because Jeff and I laugh. Pictures came up from family reunion years ago, and Jeff and I think the last time we were in Orlando, not this past time, but maybe 5 or 6 years ago we were in Orlando, Jeff and I were full suited up. Every day was full suit, shirt and tie, jacket and tie, the whole 9 yards. And if you go to Texas right now, if you go to any Keller Williams event, and I would argue just nationally because so many companies are just casual if you are even in the office because so many have left their brick and mortar and gone to digital. The uniform for most is some sort of ridiculously expensive sneaker, the Jordan 1s or the Yeezys, filth mark jeans, some sort of a T-shirt. For us, it's like all the red label stuff. Everybody has a KW T-shirt on and a blazer. And that is what you'll see Mark King and people, for the most part, a lot wearing on stage or at certain breakout sessions. So we've stuck with the collared shirt here. We're doing our best, right?
Yep.
You can't see it.
We're New England. We're old
I always
school.
do a pocket square. As I've said with the pocket square, if you ever have a chance to accessorize, why wouldn't you? So I feel like a jacket without a pocket square is naked. I never want to show up nude. Nobody wants that. So I hope everything we've said today you guys understand. It's about setting a standard. It's about changing this market for the better. There's a lot of people that are visiting real estate because they read the headlines in the last couple of years and it seemed like a good idea at the time. And now they're they're starting to piece out, and that's good for us. Go ahead.
What was Brady's number? 1.8 new licensees coming in the next year or something? He had some number like that. Like the amount of realtors are about to double. So your standard in how you present yourself, I think, is going to be huge.
Yeah, it's one more way to differentiate yourself is to just, and again, find your style. I'm not saying I do not want cookie cutter. I'm not telling every guy they got to have a button down and a blazer. I'm not telling every girl they got to wear X, Y, or Z. That's not what this is about. This is about because our workplace ultimately outside the brick and mortar here, outside the four walls of your home office or your office at your market center or business center, our workplace is planet Earth. Mm-hmm. Right? That's where you're going to be engaging with people. So the way you carry yourself at the next cocktail party, you don't know who's watching and listening to the way you're talking about the market. The language you choose to talk about the market. I'm not talking about swear words. I'm talking about just the way you carry yourself. Do you have the information? Adam says this all the time, and it's so true. When somebody says to you at the next mixer you're at, and thank God we're going out and playing with each other again. At the next mixer you're at, when somebody says, how's the market? It's wicked hot, kid. Like, that's not the answer. The answer is a question. Oh, thanks for asking. Hey, what about Stratham, Portsmouth, Somersworth, North Conway? Interest you? Are you talking about buying, selling, or investing right now, Adam? Right? And then when you're a student of the marketplace and you understand and you can talk about square footage, right, and all the other stuff and price per square foot to build and all these things, if you find your niche and you lean into that information so you can be the agent of choice, right?
Yeah. The script off, not one person answered it. The objection came, not one of them just answered it. It was a question first.
It was peel the onion. Yeah, Kara Chase went up.
And these were some of the best people in the world. In New England, with scripting.
Yeah, Kara Chase was going up, and she was relatively nervous. And I just said to her, I said, look at how far you've come, first of all. And I said, and don't forget, just keep peeling the onion. Just keep asking questions. Gary says it all the time. Great leaders don't have all the answers. They have all the questions. Our job is to uncover their motivation, right? You hear the term that Gary used during Family, motivate. We have to aid them in finding their motivation. We don't give them our motivation. Right? We don't motivate them. We uncover their motivation by asking questions and then eliminating the circumstances they've built up in their head of why they think it doesn't make sense for them to buy, sell, or invest. And if the conclusion is it's not the appropriate time, then we stay engaged until it is. The graphic that Jason Abrams uses, the ski lift, very apropos for today at Cranmore. You're going to meet somebody when they're at the top of the mountain they just bought. They got to ski down now and get back on the lift. Are you going to be engaged for the next 5 to 7 years so the next time they ski, you're their partner?
There. Yeah.
Are you willing to do the heavy lifting to do that? I invite you to join. They're in the room right now. It is 9 o'clock, so jump in right now on Zoom. Or you can also do it in person if you're already in the room in Portsmouth. Obviously, there's no need for me to tell you to go to the room because you're already there. 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock with Zoe and Babs and Robert helping you guys with your marketing and all the technicals. So thank you, Jason. Enjoy tobogganing.
I will.
Or skiing or riding or whatever people are doing. Cranmore all day today with KWCLM. We'll see you in and around the Market Center. If you got questions for Jen or Jason, call Jason, 603-234-2589. Babs and Zoe and Robert are in the room right now. Track them down. Ask your questions online. They'll be on Zoom at 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock, 2 separate sessions. In case you miss it, it's also getting recorded. And if you need me, it's meetwithcoach.com or 603-834-2856. We'll see you in and around the Market Center. Have a great weekend. And go impress upon your people that you are the agent of choice.